Hmm. Okay, that guy's the largest threat right now. Let's try to get him. Yeah, unfortunate. Anyways, up guys, Phoenix here, and today I have an unusual Japanese plane, J2M Raiden. And it's unusual because this is probably the only energy fighter in the Japanese tech tree. Okay, Yak 9 will be the next target. So this makes it very well suited to learn energy fighting because it's a very forgiving plane. As it is quite good at dogfighting as well. It's very agile, has a very nice turn. You can easily dogfight at least Russian fighters with it. Let's see. What a target-rich environment. Okay, Yak 9 is coming up. There's a chance. He's going for the Spitfire. Okay, let's try to bail the Spitfire. Or we'll see what opportunities will. Okay, we'll go for the Taunton here. I don't think he sees me. Ah, shit. Alright. I wanted Yak, but the P-51 there is an issue. Oh, actually hit his fuel tank. What? What the hell? Did they set him on fire with that one shot? Crazy. Alright, let's go for Yak 9. Slightly concerned about those Dorniers ahead of me, but they don't seem to be too close yet. Good. Oh, one of them died, then we go for the Yak 9. Oh shit! Didn't notice he was coming towards me. Okay, let's go for Yak 9K, it's more dangerous. Dornier I can outturn anytime I want. Whoa. Oh, but this guy is not doing poorly. Okay. Yep. Added flaps and he's dead. And now we go for the other guy. Easy. Okay, actually let's take my time with machine guns. Okay, let's not take my time since someone's trying to steal. Whew, 6 kills. Not bad. Okay, let's make a pass on that B-17. Taking down bombers is one of the weak parts of Raiden. It's honestly not very suited for this.
Huh?
Well, okay. First time I made myself eat my own words in a good way. LOL. Quite interesting. A Pacific map twice in a row. Okay, then let's go. P-51 is also on the table. Pun intended. Let's see who will we eat. Okay, FATF. Very nice. Okay, let's see. Seafire is probably the most dangerous, given the fact that I have a nice energy and altitude advantage, not necessarily. Wash time and compression. Yeah, this plane is quite good at diving. I think it has a rip speed of like 800 km per hour, but it's getting bricked a bit by all the air at high speeds. Oh, it has become 3v2. Okay. Back to 2v2. There we go. Back to
Nice.
or rather down to 2v1. Oh, he's dead. Yep, if you want to win with American planes on Pacific maps, you have to side climb and you have to energy fight instead of engaging in fireballs. Actually quite like Pacific maps for this as an American plane player, because it really tests your skills. It's quite fun. Alright guys, now that I have shown you how this plane performs in practice, let's go with a hopefully quick overall overview of this plane's pros and cons, so that you have a better idea on how to properly use it. So first, the armament. We have two 7.7 machine guns in the nose, which we will ignore because they are shit. The main point are two 20mm cannons in the wings. Their placement means that convergence is going to be an issue, but otherwise they are sort of accurate. At least they are more accurate than the German 20s and possibly more accurate than at least some Russian 20s. The round velocity is neither high nor low, which is why they are more accurate, but also they are less accurate than British and American cannons. The fire rate is fairly slow, so while you have only 100 rounds per gun for a total of 200, you shouldn't shoot out all of your ammo too fast, unless you are very trigger happy. Regarding the ammo, we have several options. Mostly they are different combinations of armor-piercing high explosive shells, high explosive fragmentation shells, tracer shells, and in some cases just fragmentation incendiary shells. I haven't really tried out all of those belts, so I can't really say for sure, but I would say that universal belt is quite good. It does its job. You have seen me using it just now. It has destroyed most of the enemies pretty well. There is no really other armament. We can carry two small bombs, which is pretty much worthless. If you have a very good aim with bombs, you should be able to take down one, maybe even two vehicles with it, but in ground RV, but it's going to be difficult. For survivability, well, the best tactic to survive is just not to get hit. This plane is a bit fragile, just like all Japanese planes. However, at least we have some armor, a piece of steel behind the pilot and a piece of bulletproof glass before the pilot. And all the modules, the critical modules I mean, are concentrated before the pilot, so at least they are not dispersed across the fuselage like in some planes. We can also use the engine fire system, which, well, at least let's say that it's helpful sometimes. The rip speed is fairly high, as you can see here, at over 800 kilometers per hour. So this plane will not break up too easily, and it's good for diving. Flaps are pretty average. That combat and takeoff flaps rip somewhere between 400 and 500 kilometers per hour. And the 280 kilometers per hour limit here refers to the landing gear. Landing flaps, sorry. The landing gear is just above. You have seen me fly already, but let's refresh our memory a bit. So as you can see, this plane is pretty slow. The acceleration, even when whipping, is mediocre. That's the low speed and the low maximum speed of just under 600 km per hour are a big weakness of this plane, probably the biggest weakness. Also, another considerable weakness is the roll rate. It's not bad now at 400 km per hour, But if we slow down significantly to say 300 km per hour, the roll rate is markedly worse. Anyway, pretty sure that Seafire I have fought earlier has outrolled me. So that was a good example of the roll rate being not very good on this plane. As for other things, they are pretty good. The rudder is pretty responsive. We have a nice turn rate, which can come even better with flaps. We don't have an air brake or a G-suit, but we don't really need them, I guess, since usually you won't be flying too fast. Well, you can fly fast if you dive. Therefore, it is very good to climb high in this plane, and you can do this easy because of its excellent climb rate. I suggest you climb at this angle. It does very well. And this plane performs quite well at high altitudes, so it's very suitable to this sort of tactic. As for performance at different speeds, this plane breaks up at over 700 km per hour or so when it's reaching its limits, and it's markedly worse in terms of performance at lower speeds, at like, I don't know, below 300 km per hour maybe. So as I said earlier, this plane is quite good in terms of energy retention. It's especially good in terms of vertical energy retention, mostly because of its excellent climb rate. In terms of horizontal energy retention, it's so-so, and it's also so-so in terms of energy retention in turns. We don't really bleed speed in turns at low speeds. It's going to be trickier at higher speeds, at least initially when you start turning, but when you settle into the turn, it's getting better. Let's speed up a bit to show it. Alright, so now we turn, and we are losing some speed initially, but then we are losing less and less speed. In terms of economy, there's nothing really much to write home about. If we compare with other rank 3 Japanese planes, then bombers are going to be more lucrative. They're going to give you more money and research, or at least more money, not necessarily more research. And at least some of them are cheaper to repair. Whereas fighters are usually going to have worse modifiers than Raiden at the same rank. They are going to have also higher repair cost. So in terms of general performance, this plane is a very good energy fighter. Especially if you climb very high, it will be excellent when you dive down and abuse energy retention against your enemies. Given its very good turning ability, it's very forgiving, and you should be able to engage more enemies on par or with an advantage. The only enemies in RRB that are really notable will be Spitfires, and you can, if not outdo, then at least equal most most agile fighters from other nations, such as Russian planes, for example. LA-7 and Yak-9 are easy. Yak-3 is probably the only one I would be a bit worried about. It may outturn Raiden. So generally you will do well in RRB unless you are outnumbered by a lot, and unless you are flying really slow. I do not really recommend hunting bombers with it. You definitely can, but for that I would rather suggest you use the next version of Raiden, the M3 version, which has 4 20mm cannons and has like 800, so 4 times more ammunition. In ground RB I do not recommend this plane at all. All we can carry are 2 small 60 kilo bombs, which is a joke, and the ground target's belt. While it has a lot of armor piercing rounds, their armor penetration values are very low. Nothing really to write home about at all. and the best you can take down with it are some unarmored vehicles. Right, so overall it's just a very good plane and I very much recommend it. It's an excellent way to learn how to use energy fighters. The Japanese tech tree is overall very beginner friendly, so it's very good to learn how to turn fight from zeros, and then you can learn how to energy fight from J2M. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and until the next time.